Hello and welcome to our first video here at Steelman Apologetics. Here at Steelman, we want to provide the opposite to a straw man argument. We want to seek out and find or even create the best Muslim form of the argument and then provide a Christian response. Let's dive into today's topic. So the topic today may be one that's familiar to many of you, and that's whether or not the Qur'an affirms the reliability of the Bible. Now, before you tune out and click on a different video, please do bear with us. We're going to be looking at a couple of verses which are rarely, if ever, discussed in relation to this topic. So hopefully they'll be of interest to you. The first verse comes in Surah 2, Ayah 146, where we read, "Those we gave scripture know it or him," the Arabic suffix is who, "as well as they know their own sons, but some of them hide the truth that they know." Now there's only one other place in the Quran that we find this phrase, "they know it as well as they know their own sons," and that's in Surah 6, Ayah 20. "Those to whom we have given the scripture know this or it or him, as well as they know their own sons. Those who have lost their souls will not believe." Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to keep you in suspense. We're going to save for a later video exactly what or whom is being referred to here. For this video, I just want to highlight that whatever or whomever is being referred to, it is something or someone that the people of the book should recognize as clearly as they know their own sons. So how does this tie into the broader Muslim-Christian discussion on this issue? So the discussion about the Quran and the Bible often begins with Christians bringing up a number of verses. Now, these are indeed very relevant verses. Let's just run through a few of them quickly to refresh your memory. In Surah 5:47, it says, "Let the followers of the gospel judge according to what God has sent down in it." The significance here is that the followers of the gospel must still have the gospel to be able to judge by it. In Surah 2:89, it says, "When a scripture came to them from God," this is talking about the revelation of the Quran, "confirming what they already had." So here the Quran is confirming musaddiqan, the previous scriptures. In Surah 10, Ayah 94, the Prophet is told, "If you are in doubt about what we have revealed to you, ask those who have been reading the scriptures before you." Why would Muhammad be instructed this if the previous scriptures were not reliable? Now, there are a few Muslim responses that I've seen to this Christian approach. Option A is to say that the original Torah and Gospel were reliable, but that these have been lost before the time of Muhammad. Now, this doesn't seem to make good sense of those passages in the Quran that talk about these scriptures still being with you, ma'akum, such as in 4:47. It also doesn't make sense of the claim that Muhammad is still to be found written, maktub, in the Torah and in the Gospel at the time of Muhammad, and we see that in the Quran, Surah 7, Ayah 157. Option B is to say that the Torah and the Gospel did exist at the time of Muhammad, but that these are different from the Torah and the Gospel that we know of today. Now, the problem with this is not so much scriptural but historical, which is that given the fact we have complete manuscripts of the Torah and of the Gospels centuries before Muhammad, it's hard to believe that this pure text, this pure and true Torah and Gospel, survived only in Arabia, perhaps also a few other places like Constantinople, but that this has left no trace in the manuscript evidence. Option number C is, I think, the best response out of these three, even though it has its challenges. Option C is that the Jews and Christians are supposed to determine the true Torah and Gospel by reading their corrupt scriptures in light of the Quran. Here are a few examples of Muslims who take this approach. So Muhammad Asad, in his commentary on the Qur'an, understands Muhaymin in Surah 5, Ayah 48, and the Muhaymin here is the Qur'an, as meaning confirming the truth of whatever there still remains of earlier revelations and determining what is true therein. Muhammad Abu Layla, when he summarizes Ibn Hazm, and he appears to do so approvingly, says that for Ibn Hazm, the criterion on which his distinctions are made is the Quran itself. He accepts what is consistent with the Quran and rejects what is incompatible with it. Bassam Zawadi takes a similar approach, and so too the website Many Prophets One Message, which says, Allah commands the people of the book to judge their scriptures by the Quran. Now, in a debate on this topic, titled What is the Quran's View of the Christian Scriptures, Shabir Ali takes an even more nuanced approach, as he tends to do. He says, the Quran, to me, in this passage, and he's talking about Surah 7, Ayah 157, where it says the people of the book will find Muhammad written with them in the Torah and the Gospel. He says, in this passage, it's calling on Jews and Christians to use the interpretative methods with which they are already familiar to see if those interpretative methods will point them towards Muhammad, as it has already pointed the Christians to Jesus. And then he lists these methods of typology, the fuller sense of scripture, midrash, and pesha. Now, this is where the verses that I focused on, where they come into play. These approaches suggest a degree of nuance, that the first approach suggests that one cannot simply read the Bible and find it necessarily confirms Islam. You have to read the Bible in light of the Quran to then confirm the truth of the Quran. And you can see there are one or two logical steps there involved. It's also quite a debatable method. Shabir Ali's approach suggests one cannot necessarily pick up the Torah and the Gospel and immediately or clearly find Muhammad mentioned therein. Instead, you have to use these other methods. Now, these verses, whatever they're referring to, and to give you a sneak preview, a very popular theory is that they're referring to Muhammad. They say, rather than this subtlety in these approaches, these methods, instead they say that those whom we have given the scripture, they know it or him as well as they know their own sons. Whatever this point of harmony is between the Quran and the Bible, there's no reading between the lines necessary. It's something or someone that can be recognized with great clarity. So if you'd like an investigation of exactly what or whom these verses are referring to, please do tune into our next video to find out. Do subscribe by clicking the logo below, and if you can find the notification bell, do click that as well. If you simply cannot wait until the next video, do check out the blog post entitled The Quranic Paternity Test, Attempting to Recognize Our Own Sons, which you can find on our website, steelmanapologetics.com. Thank you for watching.